Today I show you how to choose the best video formats for your iPhone camera when you're recording videos. So I look at photos, but I also look at videos here. And I want to show you first, the most important is make sure that you have 4K 60 or 4K 30. And you can choose, this is the iOS 26 camera app, by the way. You can choose HD or 4K. HD is lower quality. And the frame rate, the lower the number, the less frames per second there are, so the image might be a little bit blurry. 120 is going to make large files, so better avoid that. You really want to go in the middle between 30 and 60. You can always choose 120, 120 frames per second if you have something that's moving really fast and you want to capture it like a fountain or something like this, or waterfall or something like that. Or something moving fast, like a sports situation, like these cars, racing cars or something like that. So yeah, these are the formats. Also, when you use the macro mode, it will change the way things look, especially if you're recording things that are close. The lenses they choose, they switch between them automatically. The camera button is really useful. You can really use this to zoom in and out, and even to start the camera up, start the video recording now, or I could even stop it from there. But the most important thing is really the 4K and 60 or 30 option. Also, you have the option for the ProRes RAW if that's what you want to look at. If you're trying to find how to do that, you go to the settings, then camera. In the camera app, you also can change the camera control settings. And when you record, these are the formats you can choose for different modes. And by the way, here this in iOS 26 you have the video and photo mode, but then you can open the rest of the modes like cinematic. Most popular modes are going to be video and photo anyway. So, but here you can choose different frame rates for slow motion, 4K 120. So that's nice to have it as an option, and cinematic 4K 30 could actually be 4K 24 if you want really real cinematic. You can choose the sound. I prefer to use stereo, not the spatial or mono especially. And wind reduction, keep the wind reduction, the noise reduction for wind. It's pretty good for iPhone, and you want to have all these settings enabled. There are lots of options here. The Fusion camera has really nice settings. You can use all those settings for lens correction and everything here. There are lots of options for the camera, and for video you have also the option for formats. I look at formats now. You can choose between high efficiency or most compatible. If you choose most compatible, you will have H.264 video files, or the H.264 video files require a little bit of a larger size for the same quality as H.265 HEVC, but they will need less processing power. That's why it's more compatible. Same with JPEG versus HEVC. I prefer to use the high efficiency formats, and in photo mode choose the highest resolution available. Like it's no need to use the lower resolution modes. And here for the video settings, you can enable the Apple ProRes, and you can even enable the ProRes encoding for HDR or log. When you're recording like this in log or HDR, the camera will look a little bit different. Also the video files will be extremely very large. So in some modes, for example 4K 60, you cannot record on your iPhone, you have to use an external SSD. Files will be very large, so most of the time you don't want to have that. But if you want to use it, you have the option ProRes HDR and ProRes log. The ProRes log looks a little bit washed out, and this is because as you notice the resolution switched to HD, and that's because you can't record 4K without an external storage. So that's how it is. And ProRes is off now, and if I choose to 4K 60, it's not gonna work. 4K 30, it will work, and it still needs resources. Okay. And I can free some resources on the iPhone. I guess it's closing apps and storage setting. Okay, so this is how the log looks like. I will record just a few seconds. It's very washed out. This needs to be processed. It doesn't, you can't really use it like this. That's it's to be used with processing. But if you record HDR ProRes, then you can use this as a regular video, just like that, but still large files. So let's see actually how large these files can be. Let's see a few seconds of each one. So this one is 2 seconds. It's HDR and it's 147 megabytes for a 2 seconds file. It's 4K 30, and this one is log 236 for 3 seconds. It was 3 seconds. So you can calculate how much 1 minute will take. A lot of space. And it shows you that it's ProRes. You can see it's here. ProRes HDR. That's ProRes HDR here. You can see the logo there. And the log. And this one is HDR. You see HDR there. So you have to be careful with the video recording formats. If you don't want to record in ProRes by mistake, that's gonna fill up the space on your iPhone very quickly. You can have the option disabled. Actually, you can disable the option. That's why I don't have this option enabled, but I have it for photos because the raw photos are not such a large files generator, but ProRes video, it's going to be very large. ProRes is good for editing and for lots of things. It's a great option to have when you need it, but most of the time you don't need it. I don't need it. So these are the settings and formats. I really like to use high efficiency, and then these are the options for me. That's how I like to use it. And after using the ProRes settings, I have to remember to go back to 4K 60 because the camera settings are changed back like that. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps you choose the right formats for video on your iPhone.